Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have a guest YouTuber with me, Leah Tackles. Say hi, Leah.
Hey there, guys.
And Leah, really quick before we get into this video, I just want you to tell everyone about who you are, like what your channel is all about. Go for it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am Leah, and I have a channel where I put up Disney videos. I have recipes, tutorials, planning tips, unboxings, things like that every single week. I started doing kind of just beauty and lifestyle and Disney, all things like that, when I originally started my channel. But then I was thinking, you know, I still have a beauty blog, so I still do love that, but what I really like watching on YouTube is Disney content. So a few months ago I switched to doing all Disney videos, and I'm really excited to be here today with you.
Yay! And one of the reasons that I was drawn to Leah is that she's a mom just like me, and we just, you know, we had the YouTube thing in common, and we just were kind of drawn to each other, and so here we are. Okay, so let's get into the video. This is going to be like my top 3 things that you don't want to miss at Epcot, because Epcot is my favorite Disney park in all of Disney World, even more than Magic Kingdom, although the kids probably like Magic Kingdom more. But top 3 things not to miss at Epcot from me and then from you as well. And so we're just going to kind of give our own top things and compare notes and everything. So follow along, especially if you're planning to come to Epcot and you've got small kids. So, well, at least, you know, well, go ahead and give the ages of your kids.
Okay, I have 3 kids. I have Haley, who is 6, I have Connor, who is 4, and I have Logan, who is 2. But the last time that we were in the park, it's been too long, but Haley was 4 and a half, nearly 5. Connor was almost 3, and then Logan was a baby. He was almost 1. So it has been a while. So the things I'm going to be talking about were things that they did at those ages.
Okay, and then my kids are ages 3 and 2. So I guess let's start with you. What is your #1 thing if you knew that there was a family with young kids going to Epcot? What do they have to do that you loved about Epcot?
I absolutely love, I think this is a hidden gem or a hidden pearl. I'm trying to be clever here, but basically the Pick a Pearl experience, which you can do in the Japanese pavilion in the countries at Epcot, is amazing. I absolutely loved it. I do have a entire video dedicated to on my channel. It's an older video, but I can give that to Jen so she can link it up maybe. But Pick a Pearl is really fun. If you don't know what it is, basically you go into one of the gift shops in the Japanese pavilion, and there is a giant tank. It is a basically in the shape of like a half circle or a semicircle, and it's a giant tank, and then if you choose to do it, you get a number, and then you can pick out a clam. You know, you're supposed to pick a really dirty one, and then whatever, that's supposed to be the best pearl, but you pick any clam you'd like, and then there's an entire ceremony where they crack open the clam, and then you get to have your pearl, and you count down in Japanese, and just some fun things like that. But I loved it because I did it with my daughter, so we each got a pearl, which is just like a really special thing to do. You know, she can save it, and you know, just a special cute mother-daughter thing. Plus it was a souvenir and an experience in one. Like, it was so fun. It was one of the most memorable things for me for our whole trip.
Now, I always see families doing it, and it always looks like so much fun, but like I would have never known that it was that like special had I not heard your experience. And I'll definitely link your video in the link in my description box below. But also, how much did it cost, just out of curiosity?
To pick the pearl itself, and don't quote me because the price I'm going to mention, like I said, is a little bit, you know, a year and a half ago or so, but I think it was under $20, like $15 to $20 range just to pick the pearl. And then of course you can set them. They have necklaces and bracelets and all sorts of jewelry and things like that, which of course that's extra, but it's pretty, I mean, affordable, especially in terms of a Disney kind of souvenir or token. And I remember when we went in, because I knew ahead of time that I was interested in doing it and I wanted to do it. And there was a ton of people around the tank, and I was so nervous that, you know, we were gonna have to wait forever or this or that. But when I went up and asked, they said, oh, it's really not that much of a line. Most of the people were just watching. They were just interested to see what pearls people got and see the whole ceremony of it. So it really wasn't, I mean, at least for us, much of a wait. And I think that if you took the number, you could also, if you wanted to, you know, walk around the gift shop maybe. You didn't have to stand right there, I'm not sure. But it really wasn't bad for us at all.
That is so awesome. So happy to hear that. I guess to tie in with your number one thing not to miss at Epcot, for me, the number one thing not to miss at Epcot, which this is more of a hidden gem because of course everybody's going to go do the Finding Nemo ride, you know, the Frozen ride, the Mexico boat ride, you know, Figment before it closes, you know, the Spaceship Earth. Everybody knows about all of those kid-friendly rides. What we are talking about is just like things that are in the countries or just around. Well, I love the countries at Epcot. That's one of my favorite things. So Japan, when we are walking around, we always stop and look at the koi pond. There is a beautiful koi pond right across from the Japanese gift shop. And my husband and I and the kids will just go and just look at all of the giant koi fish, and they have like little Japanese bridges that you can walk over, and it's very picturesque over there. It's a great photo spot, and my kids just love going up the stairs and walking up to the quick service Japanese eatery pavilion area, which by the way is a great quick service place to stop and eat because they have great table seating both inside and outside. It's very spacious outside as long as the weather's nice. We usually, like during the summer, we go in the evening for quick service there. But yeah, the seating is just, it's very spacious, great for kids that are kind of squirmy like mine. And but yeah, we just love that area.
Yeah, but kids love those little sweet things. Like, you know, to us especially, I mean, I think that's interesting too, is we have different perspectives because you are local to Orlando, whereas, you know, when I go, it's more planning a trip. And I think that when you're someone who doesn't get to go a lot, like, you know, our family doesn't get to go, you know, very often because we aren't local. And I think that it can be a thing where you're like, oh, well, all we have to do is, you know, jam pack all these fast passes and all these character dining things and all this kind of stuff. And that's all wonderful, and I do all, you know, I do all those things, but I think that sometimes for kids, it's more enjoyable to just, you know, chill out for a few seconds and look at some fish. So I think that's a really cute idea and a fun thing for people to think about doing.
Yep, I totally agree with you, and I feel you where you're coming from. You know, you're from Michigan, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I totally feel you. I am spoiled. My husband and I were actually just talking about that. We are truly spoiled, and I hate to say that we take Disney World for granted, but when you live in Orlando, especially we've lived here since we were like young, but at the same time we love Disney too. We love it, but we love it in a different way, if that makes sense. We definitely take in the koi pond. So, okay, well, let's move on to topic number 2. Number 2, where do you suggest people definitely not miss when they go to Epcot with small kids?
Well, this is kind of going to piggyback off what you said. This is definitely not a destination spot or anything that people would think about as far as, you know, oh, we can't miss this. But for us, one of the nicest things we did when we were at Epcot with the kids, and we were only there for a day, which was a bummer. I hope that next time we can go for longer so we can really explore the countries with them and make sure that we see, you know, all the different things that there is to see, because there's so much to see there. I think people kind of don't consider that. There really is a lot to see at Epcot. But we wanted to kind of just chill out. We've been really hot. We've been going all day long. And we went to, we got ice cream in France, or gelato. No, it wasn't gelato. We weren't in Italy. Yeah, it was ice cream. Anyhow, we were in France, and we got ice cream. And then we went to a little just courtyard area with a bench, and the kids just ran around. And my husband and I just sat and relaxed a little bit. And it was just so nice to be able to sit with our family and watch the kids play, and nothing crazy, just enjoying how beautiful Epcot really is.
I love it. I love it. By the way, France is my absolute, that is like one of my top, as an adult, like going with my husband, we love France. Just the music, We can't really do the movie theater thing yet because my son is kind of, you know, he's not about the sitting right now unless it's what he wants to watch. But like, because the movie's kind of boring for small children, I guess, but it's really fun for me. I love it. My number 2 also kind of piggybacks on yours. For us, we always, probably even more than the koi pond, we hit up England. They have a maze hidden in the back. It's off the beaten path. So if you're just walking and passing by, you're not going to see the maze. But there is like a maze where the bushes go about to my waist, just above my hips. And kids just run around in there like crazy little wild banshees. It's great exercise for them to like run off whatever jitters or, you know, wigglies that children have. Sometimes they even have a band playing, like it's like a wannabe Beatles band, knockoff band, or they'll even play like other like hard rock or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I love England. I love the tea shop. We don't go in the tea shop with kids, but I make it a point to go in that area so I can enjoy the ambiance. And my kids like run around in that maze. I have had to hold my children's hand though because of the toddler age where they've been unsteady on their feet. You know, the ground isn't perfectly smooth. You know, some of the cobblestones can kind of trip them up a bit. But once, like now my daughter's 3.5, and she runs through that thing fine, no problem. You don't really have to hold her hand. But my son, who's like 2, he just turned 2, you know, during that first year, we definitely had to hold his hand going through. But the kids love it. And I often see parents just sitting on benches watching their kids just run. Kind of like what you were saying in France, what you were doing. What do you have to say about it? Thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, well, as you're describing this, and when you first told me about this, all I was thinking is, I cannot believe that I missed this. I've never seen this. I was seriously looking up pictures after Jen told me about this, of this maze, because all of my kids would love that. And I think that's one of the special things to kind of remember is that, I mean, everything is like, you know, beautiful at Disney and well done at Disney, but there's like for kids, sometimes those things, like they don't care. It doesn't need to be super, super fancy or high tech or animatronic or anything, you know, whatever like that. They just love that. And it's nice for parents to be able to relax and take in the ambiance and take in all the beautiful details of Epcot and of the countries. So yeah, next time that is going to be on my must check out list for sure.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go to your number 3 thing that you feel, if you're from out of state or whatever, you're coming to Epcot just this once with small children, what should we not miss?
Okay, well this is a seasonal thing, and the reason that I'm including this is because, like I said, we only spent 1 day, so I really only have 1 day to speak off that we've actually done. Now there's other things and other rides and things like that that I think are definitely kind of like, you don't even have to say, like Nemo, you should see that with kids, you know, if you're going to Epcot. But I think that the Candlelight Processional, which is a holiday event they have at Epcot, is something that most people would think, oh my goodness, you cannot do that with young children. And I actually even thought that, and then I was able to snag a dining reservation. It was for a late lunch, and then if you got that reservation, you got tickets, guaranteed seating basically, so you didn't have to stand by, sort of like a fast pass for the Candlelight Processional. And my husband and I, and we were there with my in-laws, and my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, and our kids, and so it was a big group of us, and we were kind of like, okay, well, if the kids, you know, lose their minds or something, we'll just, you know, quietly leave, it'll be all right. But actually, the event's only about an hour, and it's just not very often do you get to see a huge choir like that, and you know, a big orchestra, and it was so beautiful. It was so wonderful for the time of year. It's special to me and to us to get to see it, but also the kids fell asleep. And granted, this was at about 5 o'clock, and we'd been going all day. We started with a character breakfast that day, but it worked out for us, and it could go the opposite way for you, so no guarantees, but it really worked out for us. I think just the speaker, maybe, you know, I don't know if it was boring to them or whatever, but that combined with the music, and they all ended up drifting off to sleep, and we got to stay and enjoy. So I guess my thing for that would be, don't necessarily think that you have to skip something. I mean, I probably wouldn't drink around the world Epcot with kids or anything like that, you know, obviously, but don't think that you can't do something that you really want to do if you have young kids with you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think that's so awesome that you were gutsy to do this. Now, Leah and I actually filmed this video a few days ago, and then I messed up and the audio wasn't working. I didn't like quite plug in my microphone, so there was no audio. Anyway, we were totally going, I was asking you a million questions, like, what time do your kids go to sleep? Or I don't know, I was just so so surprised that your kids fell asleep, because it's hard for me to imagine this with my kids. But, and also I was like, well, how did they fall asleep? And then you explained that one of them was in the carrier. So you definitely, would you suggest a baby carrier to moms out there? I would.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And yeah, that's so funny that because now we kind of missed a couple of the things that we might have touched on. But so yes, definitely a carrier, because Logan was still in we were wearing him in a front carrier. And then also we definitely had a long day, so they were worn out. And I think that's funny because it makes it sound like, oh, my kids are angels. No, not at all. They are just like any other, young preschool age, toddler age kids. I think we really just lucked out. But it was, just the perfect time of day. They hadn't really napped. We'd been going all day long, and so we got lucky. But I think the takeaway is that, if there's, a shop you really want to check out, or maybe a restaurant, don't necessarily cut it out. As long as you're willing to be flexible with the fact that there's no guarantees, I think it's okay.
Awesome, awesome. And then also did you use Kingdom strollers? Because you mentioned that you had rented a stroller.
Okay. Yes. We rented from Kingdom Strollers, and I did a lot of research before the trip, because Disney, you can rent strollers from Disney. But if you do that, you have to, go to whatever park you're going to each day, stand in a line or however it is, and then rent that stroller and then give it back. But I wanted to rent from an outside, they're an outside company. It's not a Disney company, but they work with Disney, so they're able to deliver the stroller. Like, we paid a fee for the week that we were there, and then they delivered the stroller. It was there, shortly after we checked in. We had it basically right away at our resort. We did stay on property, and then we had it to use at the resort. We could use it anywhere you would go, like Disney Springs, you could use it, and of course at the parks. And it was so nice because it was a huge, not huge, but a big double stroller, a big, nice quality, City Select, I think it was, double stroller, which is a really nice quality stroller. It was easy to, collapse, which is always a big thing if you're getting on the bus or the monorail or something like that. And it was so affordable to do it that way too. And it was clean, they steam clean it. It was much more comfortable for the kids than those hard bucket seat kind of strollers. And it was nice because it was ours for the trip. So I definitely suggest doing that, especially, if you have young kids, even if they're maybe not in a stroller so much at home. Disney is a lot of walking. So if they're even at all borderline, I suggest having a stroller.
And the stroller for us really acts like the pack mule, like a donkey carrying all of our backpacks, all of the food. We bring snacks to the park a lot because it gets expensive to eat at Disney on a regular basis, and us as annual pass holders going all the time, sometimes we're just like, we're bringing apples, we're bringing, string cheese and all kinds of stuff, so.
Totally. And one pro tip, this is such a random tangent, but that I have is, if you either if you rent a stroller, take your own stroller, however you do it, make a sign. I laminated a sign, and we put some clever little thing. You could just put your name, you could put whatever, but something to identify it, because you'll think, oh, I'll know my stroller, but first of all, they all look the same, especially if they're all from these same rental companies and from Disney and stuff like that. But put ribbons on it, Christmas ribbon, packing ribbon, whatever you have, put something on it so you can find it in that sea of strollers.
Excellent, excellent tip. I love it. Mm-hmm. My thing not to miss, if you're going to be eating at a sit-down restaurant, one of my best memories with my children is eating in Germany at Biergarten. And I'll leave a link in the description box below because I made a video on our experience eating there with small children. And I show video I love it. They have this, first of all, it's super loud and kid friendly. Like, and I was telling Leah in our first initial filming of this, my kids, they're the kind of kids that you don't take them to eat out at a restaurant because they don't like to sit in their chairs. Well, now that they're 3 and 2, they're sitting in their chair and they're finishing their meal. But like when my daughter was 1, when my son was 1, oh no, there was no sit. Like they would sit, eat their food, but as soon as they were done eating their food, they didn't want to be in that chair anymore. And a lot of it has to do with how you raise them at home. Like my kids, you know, they would sit at the table, eat their food, and then I would let them run off. I never like forced them to sit at the table, or I don't know. So maybe it's my fault, you know, but regardless, like my husband and I, we always kind of avoided eating out with kids in general. While they were little. Now we're starting to eat out more, but you know, I really wanted to eat at Biergarten like a year ago when my son turned 1. Yeah, so that, as far as like being kid friendly, I love it. It's a buffet style eatery, but what I love is that they have this dance floor where they have an Oompa band, which, you know, you think of Germany, you think of polka music, but it's actually Oompa music is what they play there. Which is, I used to live in Germany when I was a little girl, so Germany's kind of near and dear to my heart. But yeah, so they had this Oompa band. My daughter and I danced out there. I had been wanting to dance with my daughter for years to that band, like since before I had kids. I knew when I have kids, I am so dancing with my children on that dance floor. They have like this wonderful little musical show that they do, and it's just great. And I can't say enough good things about it. But if you have small kids and you like German food, you know, it's not the #1 German food that you'll ever have in your life, no. But it's good food in my opinion. It's super expensive though. You're gonna pay Disney prices. But by the way, can I just recommend the tomatoes, the marinated tomatoes? Anyway, sorry. Thoughts and feelings, Leah, on this?
Well, I think it is so funny because it is so true. When you are a parent, you want the loudest restaurant. You want other kids to be louder than your kids. Like if I hear other kids who are being loud and causing, you know, trouble for their parents, I'm like, yes, thank you. I love you because you are being loud, and you know, it's not just me and my husband and our kids who are being loud. So I definitely think that I can totally relate to that. And I think the Germany thing, you should totally, Jen, you should do a video on that at some point. I think everyone should thumbs this up and tell Jen that she should do a video about her time living in Germany. Have you done a video on that?
No, I haven't. Well, thank you so much for that video topic, but like Germany was so special to me, so you don't have to twist my arm for me to make a video like that, so thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could even, you could do like an EPCOT Germany and then like your experience in Germany. It would be very cool.
So true, so true. Yeah, and I totally feel you on the joy you feel when another family's kids are being louder than your kids, because then you feel like, okay, I'm not such a terrible parent. Like, and you're not even thinking that that other family is bad or anything. It's just, for once, it's not your kids, you know?
Yeah, you kind of do that, that smile, that like, hey, it's all right. We're all in this club together. You know?
We're all in this together. We're normal. We're not crazy, you know?
Exactly.
Leah, thank you so much for sharing all of your tips and advice on my channel. I can't thank you enough, and I'm so glad to have you. And any last words?
Thank you so much for watching. This was so fun. Every time I talk to Jen, I'm just like, oh, I just want to keep talking. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks for having me, Jen.
Yes, and don't forget to check out the description box below. I did a collab with Leah on her channel as well, so you can definitely go check it out and just, yeah, go watch. And thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share, by the way. Okay, now you can go.